Welcome to episode 6 of 50-50. I'm Nigel and C. We got
I'm
Dawson, my
Dawson.
co-host here, and then we got a new guest. Um, a good guest too. Someone we both know from playing college soccer. Uh, so you should introduce yourself. Uh,
Alrighty, boys. Well, first things first, thank you guys for having me on today. It's always nice to catch up with you guys. And as Nigel said, I had the pleasure of coaching these guys a couple years ago at Niagara College, and it's pretty cool to see you guys. One, still involved in the game, but two, also now starting this podcast as with the direction this soccer is going in this country. I think it's important that more people that played at higher levels um, talk about the sport,
yeah,
right? Keep it relevant. The country's booming in soccer right now, so the more eyes on it, the more people talking about it, it's just going to help grow the game.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, anyways, my name's Andrew Currie. Thank you guys for having me on,
Of course,
and
of course.
yeah, this is it's my pleasure, guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, before we even get into it, let's talk about Curry. Like, how do we end up meeting? That's the first thing I want to get into. Unless you want to get into the Liverpool stuff first, because that's pretty good too. That's
No,
juicy.
No, that can wait. That can wait.
That's
We'll
juicy right
talk
there. I
about how
like
we met Curry first.
that.
So we could. Oh, I want that to last a while. So we'll talk
Okay.
about Curry. You can talk about how you met each of us individually first.
Yeah. So let's do that.
well, it's hard to forget the first time that I met Dawson because we had an indoor session at the college, and it's going into my fifth year, and I see this giant come walking into the gym. We had a futsal session, and I was like, "Who on earth is this guy?" Because the head coach myself, Dawson wasn't signed yet, so he's just a new face walking out.
Yeah.
So I went up there and I said, "Hey," and he looked at me like, "Who on earth is this guy?" Uh, no, since then it's been all good. We got pretty tight right away, and
Yeah.
yeah, we hit it off right away.
Yeah.
Nigel, you know what? To be honest with you, I'm trying to think of what was my first interaction with you. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. I don't know what mine is too, honestly. I don't remember too.
You probably got stuck in on a challenge somewhere, and I was like, yes, that's exactly.
Could have been it. Yeah, it could have been. I just remember like just trying out. I remember Dawson. I remember seeing Dawson the first day. Dawson's the one who was like, yeah, this is it. And then I see Curry and I see the coaches and I'm like, oh well, dang, this is actually kind of serious. This is kind of cool. I was on a high horse. Like my confidence was like up here, at the time. So coming into it, I was like,
Well, and also back then we had a fit Nigel.
yeah, it's also true. I was also fit. I was fit. I was a little bigger, a little bigger.
Yeah. No, honestly, I believe it was a crunch and tackle. That's one of the first memories I have of you.
Wow, that's good. That's pretty good. That's good. But
Yeah,
yeah.
what a weird lad. Anyways, the first time I met Curry actually was like through futsal, and I
Mhm.
remember thinking, why is this guy talking to me? I came for a futsal session and that's it. Like I don't know why this guy's talking to me. And I wasn't rude, but I was like standoffish, I think. And
Yeah.
then he told me he was the captain, so I was like, fuck, I guess I gotta be nice. And then honestly,
I
like
highly doubt that I turned around to you and said, I'm the captain. You would have
yeah,
realized that as
I
soon as
swear to God you did. I swear to God you did. On everything. I love that
Wait, you guys
specific
were
part.
both playing with each other though, right? Like you weren't
Yeah,
the
so
coach yet.
we played together. We played
All
together.
right, all right, yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was before Dawson became a keeper.
Yeah.
No, fuck off.
Oh,
You
fuck,
know
I
no one's
forgot
ever supposed to know that. You know what?
about
You know no one's ever supposed to know that.
Oh, this is funny.
No. Anyways, me and Curry played in the back line together.
Yeah.
But I was like right center back and he was a left back.
Uh,
Um, but honestly, he became like my best friend at that school. Him and Chev were my two best friends at the school at the time. So I like every waking moment I spent with Curry, which is so random because we are like, if you just look at us on paper, we're complete opposite people. The
yeah.
first the first video of Curry I have like in my phone was like a Snapchat memory, and it's him at one of these like at one of the houses in Welland singing a country song, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? And it was the
I
first time. He
choose
was like,
your new world.
yeah, he honestly invited me over. He was like, oh, like, come to this house with us like after training, blah blah blah. And I was like, man, I don't know why I'm going to this, but
Yeah.
like I lived 5 houses down at the time, and I just moved in, so I didn't even have Wi-Fi. So I was like, fuck, I guess I'll go.
Yeah.
And it was just country music as soon as I walked in, and Crocs on the floor, and I was shocked.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
But genuinely became my best friend from then. So
That's what college
we
is
had a
about.
lot of good times too.
That's what college does, though.
A
I
lot of
swear.
good times.
It brings you with like people that you would never expect to be friends with, you know?
No, and Curry is my mother's favorite person on the entire earth. Like I told her that I told her I was like, oh, I'm shooting with Curry today. She goes, oh my god, tell him to have blah, blah, blah. She just loves Curry. So
But see, and that's the thing is I'm very family orientated. Everybody that's played part of the whether you're my teammate or now that I'm a coach, everybody knows who my parents are, and all I ask is you're respectful and right away. Dawson's always been up. He walks up, shakes my dad's hand, gives my mom a hug.
Yeah.
It's the little things, right? Like
Yeah.
it's something that the head coach at the college, myself, we're really big on. It's not just the team; it's their parents. We include everybody. We're all one big family. So yeah, it's the foundation of what our core principles are. So yeah, you all both you guys aligned right into that.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I mean, I love that. I love playing college. It was like one of the favorite things, and especially for Niagara College, it was so much fun. Like I enjoyed it. I think about it all the time. Like I go back and think about it all the time. Like it was literally one of the best moments of my life. One of the best moments of my life, hands down.
And see, as a coach, that's awesome that I can reflect on that, and you can reflect on that, and that's your experience. So
Yeah, yeah. Mm.
that's always what we're trying to offer because it's not just playing at a higher level. It's everything in between, right?
Hmm.
So you guys, I don't know if you guys knew each other prior to, but look at this. You guys that now have a friendship that's lasted well beyond the years of your playing days together. So right there, that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like before I ask any questions or we go into anything further, we'll ask you to run through your career and kind of how you ended up at Niagara College and everything that you've done because you have done a lot in football in Canada. You've kind of hit every sort of aspect. So it's a major reason why we wanted to get you on early as well. So if you want to just run through your career quick, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. So I'm born in London, Ontario. Grew up in Woodstock. I started playing for the Woodstock Soccer Club. My dad was my coach. Traditional Canadian story. When I was 9, that's when London City, and London City is no longer a club, but back then they were, asked me to join, make the move to London. And they were always the best team in the LDYSL, and we were about to make that jump into the, what was it, WASL, so WOYSL.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I made the move to London.
You're old.
We only spent one season there before OYSL came around. The team was very, very good. We were coached by a guy named Jeff Cambridge. If you know, you know. He himself, he had the, what were they called? The Cobras before it. They won, I think they won nationals every year. So the 3 times in their youth, provincial titles along the way, in between as well. Um, and it was quite funny because we had a couple of brothers on that team and as well as and on my team. And Jeff always said our group was much better than the Cobras. Um, our fate ended up being a little bit differently, as you know. Soccer from when you guys were playing youth to now has changed drastically. Quite similar for myself back then as well. So TFC came around and their academy started developing when I was around 14, 15. So it was uh, just after the Ontario Summer Games. Couple of the guys left to go join Toronto FC, and that's when FC London came around as well. But they were not in League One; it was in the PDL, the Premier Development League. So a few of us went to TFC. The rest of us went to FC London, and then from there, unfortunately, I didn't make the team that won the PDL that year. They actually beat the Seattle Sounders U23s in the
Oh, dang.
semifinals.
Wow.
It was crazy. I don't know if you guys ever heard or been to the London German Club, but it's a field at the bottom of a it's a field at the bottom of a hill.
It's in London?
Yeah, in London, like right in the heart of London,
Oh,
and
wow.
there's a river that flows through it. The mosquitoes are awful.
Dang.
The
Dang.
change rooms aren't necessarily the greatest, but there was something unique about it. Right, it was pretty intimate. But yeah, so they hosted the Seattle Sounders U23s, beat them. And I can't remember who they beat in the finals, but they brought home the championship. Myself, though, so I made it to the last cuts. Ended up not getting selected for the program, but I was part of their U21 program that competed in the OSL Premier Division.
Yep.
Um, So I ended up playing for the Premier Division or the Premier team and their regional team. A lot of games, a lot of minutes. That was right around the time that I first moved from a left winger to a left back. And at that point, I just saw myself as a defender. I was always that winger that distributed the ball. So we always had a pacey kid on the right side, up and down the flanks. Myself, I was a little bit more, wasn't really the fastest guy. I would like to say I was a smart runner, but I was very technical in that aspect. But then when I moved back to a left back, I became a very attack minded fullback. And that was right at the time too, where the game was changing. If you looked at what they were doing in Europe, the fullback's position became more of a critical role in the game.
Yeah.
I played 3 years with FC London, and then when I was 18, I was trying to figure out where I was going to school. Um, I'm a bit of a homebody. I had a couple offers going to the States, but I decided to, same story, decided to stay home. And then I got a message from Frank at the Niagara College. So honestly, I didn't know if I was even going to go to school. I had a job back in town. I was kind of debating on what to do. So I sent him a message, or I replied to his message a week before training camp. I walked on, and luckily I trained well. I did well in training camp. I earned a starting spot, and since then I started every game. And then Niagara College. Sorry,
Go ahead.
yeah. And then Niagara. It's something that I didn't really know. I mean, you get an experience everywhere you go. So no matter what, you make the best of whatever scenario that falls in front of you. Luckily, at the time, the program just made its first playoff appearance in program history the year before, and we continue to build on that success. So year 1 and 2, we made it past the first round of playoffs both years, and then my third and fourth year, those are the more successful years. In that team, we had the likes of we had a guy that played one of the first homegrown players for TFC. We had guys that had experience in Germany and Poland. The program all kind of came together at one, and we ended up getting upset in the bronze medal game in Pens. We lost to George Brown.
Ooh.
It was a heartbreaker. We got two guys sent off in the first 5 minutes of extra time. And mind you, we also that weekend, so that's when they did a quarterfinal, semi, and a final all in the same weekend. And all 3 games, we played 120 minutes. So our legs were quite tired going into that bronze medal to begin with. But then they go for another 120, and they get the Pens, but also have 2 guys sent off in that first 5 minutes. It was actually just impressive that we got the Pens.
Yeah.
Anyways, got upset. Next year, a lot of us, or at the end of that school year, a lot of us were graduating. We decided, hey boys, let's have one last kick at it. And we were a pretty tight group. I was one of the 8 that decided to take a random program just to go back to try to see if we can win something. And we had the most successful year in school history. We finished second in the West, next to Fanshawe. And then the quarterfinals, we had a matchup again with George Brown, and it was a dogfight.
Wow.
We ended up coming up on top 3-2. Still, I can replay all 3 goals we scored back in my head. And then we moved on to the semis. And that year, Durham upset Fanshawe in the other quarterfinals. Put that down, buddy. Put that down. So not to say we were overconfident, but we saw it as an opportunity that, hey, like this is a one-way ticket that we can get to nationals here, because 2 teams, obviously Ontario has been a powerhouse in the OCAA. So 2 teams often go participate at nationals.
Yeah.
And so we played them in preseason. We beat them 4-0.
Played who again?
We played Durham in preseason.
Durham, okay, all right. Slap Durham, 4-0.
Yeah, we beat them 4-0. So,
right.
A lot of
slap Durham.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
I wouldn't say slap, but at the same time, it was we were just a very disciplined team. Like, we knew what we wanted. And then going in that semifinal, the Durham coach did everything he could, and the players did everything they could to minimize every single attack that we had. They took the sting out of a lot of it. They were very disciplined in that sense. And as a coach now, I respect what he did and how he approached that game. We had one mental lapse on a defended free kick, and one guy got free, ball bounced in the box, he slotted in the corner. We ended up dropping 1-0. In the other semifinal, Humber got upset to Algonquin.
Wow.
So it
It's a
ended up
crazy
being,
upset actually.
yeah.
Going, yeah.
So it ended up being us and Humber in the bronze medal. And really, when there's a medal on the line, nobody wants to play Humber. We ended up dropping that game 1-0. So unfortunately, my playing career ended up with no medals. I took a year off, went back home, started working, trying to figure out what's the next thing I want to do. I spent that year talking with Frank, the head coach, about how I would like to step into a coaching role. And so that my fifth year, and that's of course the year that I met Dawson, I came back, yes, as a player, but my role started to change a little bit. The conversations that Frank and I had became a little bit different. Um, he started explaining things a little bit more, and of course, I'm one to ask questions, so I was asking everything I could. Then after that year, an opportunity came for me to join the staff, and 5 years later, I'm still in that position. And over those 5 years, I can't thank Frank enough for just the mentorship. It's, one, obviously the amount of games you coach, you learn a lot of experience too. But from watching somebody that has 40 years of experience and a licensed coach, how he handles different scenarios that comes up over those years, it's just valuable information. Not every decision as a coach is right or wrong, and it's always an opportunity to learn. So over those 5 years, it's been quite the journey. In the collegiate side, we had to deal with the whole COVID situation.
Yeah.
So you had kids that were coming to school that had 2 or 3 years without, marks counted, and now they're coming to college where they have freedom, they have free time. At the same time, they have marks that matter. Um, so navigating that has been an interesting task, and we're just coming out of that now, where everybody's back on the straight and narrow in terms of their schooling, which of course is making our program a lot more develop a lot better as well.
Yeah.
And then last summer, Frank was the head coach of the League Two team for St. Catherine's Club Roma.
Oh wow, really? Oh dang. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Big
he
jump.
Yeah, so he brought me on out there. At the time, I was going through my C license. So I was actually listed as the equipment manager, even though weekly duties I was acting as assistant coach. On paper, I was the equipment manager. Um, Once you get to League Two and League One, you start to replicate FIFA a little bit more. So in League Two, you do have three sub windows. You get six subs, so not everybody can get on. The game management side becomes a lot more important. Where the college, as you know, you can just come in and out as we feel. Um, so that was a great opportunity to get my feet wet in the League One environment, and then this past year, so I obtained my C, and then I got awarded the U17 high performance program for Club Roma. This group of boys, they're a special bunch. They are very talented. You could tell they've been well coached prior to me getting them. And so, just having that starting point, having kids that are disciplined, they want to be there. I have 18 kids showing up each day. They're a great group to be around, and it's just now I can put my philosophy, my twist on them, and it's been an absolute joy so far. In during that time over the last so this I've been with them now for the last 4 months. In that time though, League One put out a message saying that all head coaches need to have their B. And so if anybody has their C license and they are the head coach, put their name forward because they're going to open up a few extra spots for the national B. Luckily, I was one of the ones that got accepted into that. So I begin my journey for the B in August. But I also got awarded the League Two men's head job.
Congrats, lad.
Congrats, man.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, you know.
Thanks,
Yeah,
boys.
it's
I'm just
huge.
I'm just trying to get my seed this summer. Whenever the next registration opens up, I'm doing my seed. So I'm behind you, but I promise I'm coming.
Me too. I'm almost there.
Well, but
Yeah.
this is it, right? Like it's you need the levels here if to stay involved and to be participate in League One and we're at this time too where a lot more ex-college and university players are staying home, so they understand what it's like to be a Canadian kid now trying to make an impact at home.
Mhm. I have a question for you, actually. Something you mentioned
Yeah, go on.
with the substitutions in League Two compared to OCAA, like college and university. Would you like to see that emulated in college as well, or do you think you should still have like unlimited subs in college?
It would make our job way easier if it was limited subs.
Yeah.
I could see why.
Well, because then it becomes more true football, right?
Yeah.
It's fitness matters,
Mhm.
discipline matters. Because that's kind of the difference between OUA and OCAA. You get those extra years to work with the guys in university opposed to college. A lot of time you see a little bit more disciplined. Their mentality is a little bit stronger in the university level.
Mm.
So if we could have a couple more rules in play that instills that discipline, um, I think it would be better for everybody involved.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Um, what are your plans in terms of you talked about Club Roma? What are your plans in terms of Club Roma? Like, what's your goal at Club Roma? I'd say.
Well, right now, and I think this is really important for any young coach is you want to be in an environment where you have an impact, like a great impact on a program, whether what age that suits that where you're at that moment of time,
Mhm.
but to be in an environment where you can have mentorship from somebody above you.
I
Um,
agree. 100%.
so right now, like I'm just enjoying myself. I'm enjoying this opportunity to be part of the League Twos where I've only been with them for about 3.5 weeks. We had our first game on Sunday down in London.
How was
Uh,
that? Wow.
we came out a little short. The boys had a good fight, and for the first 15 to 30 minutes, we won a lot of the 50-50 duels. They scored. I think it came off a corner, so it started from a corner, ball came back out. We were a little bit slow closing. Guy whipped the ball back post, off the post in.
Oh man.
And then our group still had a great fight amongst them. They scored another one right before half. And then this is where the game management side comes in. I made a couple subs or one sub at the start of the half, and then I slowly started to make them throughout the rest of the game. And our compete level just wasn't quite there. So we ended up losing 2-0. But there's a lot of lessons that we were able to take. It's a quick turnaround. We had training last night, and then we were hosting Guelph on Wednesday. So tomorrow night. And yeah, so but that's it. League One, it's a lot of games in a short amount of time because it all revolves around the university schedule.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how tomorrow night goes. Training last night was great. The discipline, the attitude amongst the group was a lot. I think sometimes when you lose a game early on, we had limited sessions together. The guys were, sitting in that change room here in London, screaming. Hooting and hollering, being excited, obviously for the first win, lit a fire amongst the group. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
It's important to be fair. Um, you started your own coaching company.
ATD. Shout that out, man.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
Put in a thing.
talk about it. What is it? What are your plans for it? And what made you start it actually?
yeah. So it's advanced tactical development. So we're at this time right now where you're seeing a lot of people want to get involved with training youths, and it's great. I'm loving to see that. It's obviously gonna make a good impact. But a lot of times they're open sessions. It's whatever we're thinking about at that time. Let's host a session. We got strikers. Okay, we're gonna do finishing.
Mhm.
My whole approach to this is so I have mentorship, team training, and coach mentorship. So player mentorship, team training, and then the coach mentorship. Um, it's given it a more structured approach. So whether you want a one-off session, it's actually sitting down. So if it's a one-on-one, sitting down, what you're doing a needs assessment, trying to figure out what that player needs. If it's team training, sitting down with the coach, trying to figure out what system you guys are working on. What's your philosophy? What are you trying to work on? and then breaking it down, but giving it a step-by-step development to make a greater impact on it. I know I've been guilty of this as a young coach. You know, where we might be playing the team that's in first place, and if we're the middle pack team, oh, we got to work on defensive principles. Sorry. Well, no, that's not it. Especially in a youth capacity. If you break it down and you have a slow, gradual development throughout the course of the summer, regardless of the results, and I know it's very tricky to think that way, but that team's going to have a greater learning than a team that just is focused on whoever they're playing. So I know it's easy to get caught up in it. So my whole approach is just trying to slow it down, figure out the needs assessment, figure out where the group is, and what's the greatest impact we can have. That's more or less the coach mentorship side. And then so individual training, if they want, let's say a package of 4 or 6 sessions, once again, what's the needs assessment? What can we do? Okay, so if you're a striker, it's not just finishing, right? Also, another thing that gets overlooked a lot, and this is right from the youth all the way, it's slowly getting in there with college and university, but the mental side. Oh, so many times that gets overlooked. You know, you have a kid that shows up and he plays phenomenal one week, and then the next week he's awful, or he doesn't perform the best. And you ask him, what's going on? Well, I don't know. What'd you do last week when you had a higher output? I don't know. Well, let's break it down. Let's start to track this. Let's try to get a little history involved with this. And then slowly over time, hopefully then more kids will take a little bit more responsibility. Because at the end of the day, we're still playing a game. But if we can, share some of that responsibility on the athletes and kind of guide them along the way, once again, better learning outcomes, I think, can come, or I believe will come.
Important. And what made you want to start this?
So it's when I was back in Woodstock, so when I was 17, 18, 19, I was I did some small sided training. I love that aspect. I thought that I wanted to do that as a job. As time goes on, I realized maybe the team training isn't necessarily it. And then so I've gone through phases of this back and forth. Fast forward to now, it's important to do the team training and do individual training, but it runs a little bit deeper. It's the proper mentorship that goes along with it, which is a huge aspect and is always there. But unless it's really thought about, it's not, the impact isn't as great as what it can be. So yeah, first things first, it's mainly just what impact can I have on the next generation, as well as, I remember when I was finishing school after my 4th year, what am I going to do? I wish I had somebody to talk to. And at the time, luckily, I was able to open up to Frank, and he did play that role for me. So I want to be that voice. I want to be that person. And also, too, soccer in Canada is about to blow up. We're about to have a World Cup. Yeah. We're anticipating. I've seen figures of an extra couple 100,000 people starting to play the sport over the next couple of years.
Yep.
So saying that, more bodies playing, more impact, hopefully, better for all.
That literally leads into the next question: is what can we do to improve as a country in football? What do you think?
It's funny. So this is something I always talk about. I know I'm a little bit older than you guys, but okay, there we go. When I think back to 7, 8, 9, 10, there wasn't a single fence around a single field.
Fence, okay, all right.
So accessibility,
actually,
yeah, right. It's sure, a lot of times no one's going to say anything if you hop the fence and go on a field, but it does deter some people from doing it.
Yeah,
just not having that accessibility. If you look at every other country in the world that's football is their first sport, they have courts everywhere. They have fields. There's no fences around it. It's inclusive. It's welcoming. It's open. And where we're at, it's strictly a business, or it's schools that are now, they once had a grass field. You could just walk on. Well, now no, they have a $3 million turf field with a fence around it. It's just not accessible. So I think that's first things first is trying to figure out ways that we can break that barrier and just allow more opportunities for kids to play. Um, that's first thing, accessibility.
Actually.
Two is more structure, more mentorship, uh, and not more leagues. Back in the day when it was just L5, L4, L3, L2, L1, it was a simple progression. There was no OPDL, I model,
Yeah.
regional. It was, and people getting put in labels depending on where you're at. You
Yeah.
know, back then, one club would have 3 or 4 teams in an age group. So you'd have an OYSL team. You'd have, back in my region, WYSL team. You'd have a feeder program that goes to that. Or you might have three, because WSL was L3 and L4. So you might have a team in L3 and L4.
Yeah.
So as the years go on, if you perform well, you just move up to the next team.
Yeah.
It's less bouncing around from club to club to club. So that's another thing too. It's
An amazing point. An amazing point.
so yeah, it's I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next little bit to see which direction we're going to go. But yeah, accessibility and less leagues, I think, are two things that can make a direct impact right away.
Yeah, I honestly fully agree. With the leagues, especially, what we have a lot of now is when you're talking about jumping team to team, because, again, being involved in a grassroots program, like I'll lose 3-4 players each year to an OPDL team or like something like that, or an
Yeah.
academy, or even if it's an iModel team that just has academy in their name.
Yep.
And everyone's jumping ship to go to these different things. And there's kids that I've coached that play on 3 different teams at the same time with like these unsanctioned leagues. And there's just way too much going on around instead of focusing on how to develop grassroots.
Yeah. But the thing is that my bad to cut you off, Dawson. I think League One is helping that though because they're now making structure. It's a little bit like it is. They're now doing it. I think it's a little late, but I think the fact that League One has that relegation, has that promotion, and then you have a team like that's the set model now to make it, I guess, pro in Canada. You go,
Yeah,
you join the League One
I think
team,
League One's good. I'm talking more like our grassroots in
but
terms
then
of
yeah,
like youth football. I think
that's what I'm saying. I think we should. It's kind of hard because now it's kind of a little late, but yeah, it's what I guess that's what comes with it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, especially now because grassroots really isn't changing a lot. It's kind of just League One itself, if you know what I mean. Like that's really becoming the, goal. You play there, and then you end up going to, the CP. You end up going to League One, and then from League One, you end up going to CPL. That's kind of it. So I see what you guys are saying. If there was a way to change the grassroots level and to add more teams, and not add more teams, but to make it where there's like, something where you can move up in the actual team instead of going to a whole different team. Because same thing with me, from when I was playing when I was like when I was younger, I was going from team to team because there was like there's always bigger and better. There's always better, right? Not in my club, but it's always bigger and better. Um, yeah, like I said, good point, man.
Yeah,
Well, it's interesting too. The whole not keeping score to whatever age group that is.
Yeah,
13 or 14 now.
yeah,
Now I get why they do it now, and I
Yep.
wish I knew it earlier. So the whole theory behind that is if scores don't matter, you'll have less movement of kids.
Sorry, wait, what? In the grassroots? Like, is it League One or is this like in?
Oh
No,
no, yeah. So
so
for the
it's
little
just until U14 football in Ontario, Canada or
So,
Ontario.
Canada,
so
Canada.
U14, they don't keep it. There's no scores.
no.
U14 is the first age, I think, and I think that's even changing. But yeah, I believe it's U14. They don't keep score until then.
Okay.
So now I just wish the fact that I'm as in and as involved in football as it is, the fact that I didn't know this till last year, I think is shocking in itself. But
Yeah, I'm
uh,
just finding this out too.
the reason though is for less movement. If scores don't matter, that kid is going to stay in his hometown. He's going to train with his local team. If we have better mentorship for younger coaches, you're still going to have a better impact on those kids. And then those special kids in each of those programs are going to not only still develop, they're going to help develop everybody else part of that program.
Yeah.
And then when they're 14, if they're going to move, they're going to move anyways.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
in theory, it sounds nice, but that's not the way that it happens.
No.
Especially like someone that coaches those ages as well. Like I don't just coach like the older teams, like I coach younger teams as well. And it's still they want to be training. So at certain clubs and stuff like that, like we're limited to how much times we can train. But these OPDL teams and teams that are in those facets, even though at U12 it's not considered OPDL, if you're in an OPDL club, you're allowed to train more. So then parents are looking for stuff like that, and parents are looking for unsanctioned leagues so they can win tournaments and they can win games. Yeah. And so they're still moving no matter what. And so when I've asked, because I've been involved in a million different DRSL, DRSA, all these like league meetings, Ontario soccer meetings, through Zoom and through everything else, and it's asked all the time, like, why don't we have scores? Why is there no corner kicks for this age? Why is there no throw-ins? Why is there no offsides? Why do they only play 5? Like, all these questions get brought up, and their answer is always because we want to focus on the development of the kids. And again, in theory, it sounds nice.
It's not.
And that is 100% when I'm coaching kids these age, that is my goal. Like, my goal is development. I don't care about the score of the games. I genuinely could not care less. You will never see me lose my mind at a U11 game unless my players are just getting killed. And like, I mean, like people are just flying into challenges and the ref's not doing anything. It's the only time I'll ever even say anything. It's always up to development. But then we'll play another team, and I've genuinely seen at U12 a coach on his knees, fist pumping, looking up to the sky that his team scored a late goal. So like it.
Then that's where the mentorship side comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, mentorship is massive and it needs to happen.
If you're coaching an under 12 team and you think you're God's gift to this earth, your priorities are wrong. Now it does happen. I agree there's got to be, I don't know how they would do it, but some sort of enforcement on, this is why it's structured. Hockey used to do, I mean, I think hockey's moving away from that, but that's why, hockey in this country is so great. Is you had ex-pros moving back to their hometown, training kids in their hometown. Those kids developing, also raising the standard, raising that level of everybody else around them. When whatever age group that was, or whenever the OHL comes, go move. Go get billeted somewhere. Go explore that. 'Cause, if you're at that level, and it also comes with maturity too, right? If you're taking a kid who's really good when he's 9 years old, you're making him sit in a car for an hour and a half. Not every kid can deal with that.
Yeah.
It's them missing their childhood. That's them missing. Now, also too, this is the North American lifestyle. This is not South America. This is not Europe. This is, we can't compare ourselves to those countries. We got to compare ourselves to what it's like here in Canada. Yeah. And that stuff is deep rooted and connected in every child's development. So yeah, it's you still see kids try to make super teams, or you still see coaches that are thinking they're winning the next World Cup. But in reality, I do agree with Ontario Soccer and the fact that it is the long-term player development approach we need to take.
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah,
and having a more structured program that's working on A, B, C, D, E, F, G, opposed to A, B, C and just trying to win the game or trying not to lose to so-and-so superpower. I think that's where we're going to have the best impact. And until we start to be a little more disciplined on that, that comes from organizations. Don't have a parent coach your U12 team.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I honestly think that we should get rid of parent coaches as it is.
Or if, because it's a small club and you don't have enough people doing it, maybe can you, if you have 3 ex-college players now from your hometown that are back there, could you have them work along with two teams? It won't be the head coach necessarily. You'll still have that parent coach, but the structure will come from that player that's played at a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they understand more of that long-term player development opposed to just winning the game.
Yeah.
So when it comes to grassroots, and I'm sure you're pretty aware of all the rules from U9 and when they switch to 77 and when they add throw-ins, I'm sure you're pretty aware of all that stuff, yeah?
Yep.
Do you think that that's the right way to go about it, or do you think that it should be more like, again, in my opinion, and tell me what you think, if we're playing, I don't mind the shrinking sizes, playing 7v7 because they're smaller people, so they need to cover smaller ground. But I still feel the game should be like football. Like it shouldn't be. I don't think we should have retreat lines. I think retreat lines are the dumbest thing of all time.
We have
I don't think,
what are retreat lines?
basically on like goal kicks, if a player, no one can attack a player from a certain, they have to be behind a certain line until
Oh,
another defender takes a touch on the football.
yeah.
So I don't think we should have retreat lines ever.
To build on that, yes, I
Pardon?
agree. I agree 100%. Retreat
Yeah.
line should go.
Yeah.
Kicking should go. These are all the little things that you have to do when you're a kid. Make those mistakes. I remember taking a foul throw, and I think I was 8 years old or 9 years old,
Everybody's taking a foul throw. Yeah, like you have to learn. That's
and I
all.
felt embarrassed, and
Yeah.
it sucked. And then my coach, the next training session, we went over how to take a proper throw in, and I learned at that point because it's part of the game, but two, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. You don't want to do it. Yeah.
It's part of developing as a footballer. Like it's an aspect of the game. You when you start to take away the realism, that's when the errors start to come, or that's when we end up learning these mistakes at an older age group where you just don't need to remove that from the game.
Yeah.
Like there's, again, I've coached my 06s from 15 to 18, and like some of the decision making out of the back is so poor because they grew up with retreat lines, so they're like they get the ball from their goalkeeper and they're instantly under pressure and they just panic like this. So I don't know. I think these little things need to be taken out, but I don't disagree with the structure.
I remember being when I was playing for Woodstock, London City. They were the best team.
Yeah.
When we played them, whoever had the biggest kick on our team when we were 8-9 got on the ball and thumped the ball as high up the field as they possibly can.
Yeah.
We knew if we played it short and we coughed it up, they were going to score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This team would win games 13, 14, nothing. Because teams would try to play out the back. Well, that's game management. One for us, we had to learn, okay, if we play it short and somebody, has a heavy touch or misses the ball, there's a good chance we're going to concede.
Yeah.
London on the other side knew, hey, if we're playing a team that can't kick the ball out, we can step up the field. So it's game management, and you don't actually have to coach that. They can just be aware of that by playing the game. So don't take away the realism, and you're naturally there's going to be learning outcomes.
So my next question for you is: every coach that I talk to in the community, because I talk to a lot of coaches, because when you're a coach, you're in those groups, you talk to a lot of coaches, has a similar outlook on the way the game's structured. So why is it that we're still not following that if everyone sees the same, except for people for some reason that are part of Canada Soccer?
I'm not the one to ask that question too.
I guess not, eh?
Yeah, no, that's something that baffles me as well. You can't take away the realism. Like even just in the C license that I went through.
Yeah.
They go through how to structure a training session. I used to be a coach at one point that I'd always have, whether I had the numbers or not, I would always have some sort of neutral.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in a game, how often are you up a man?
Yeah. There's no. Yeah.
Rare. Yeah.
It takes away a form of the realism of what actually you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Or the realism of the game. Sorry. So yeah, no, I don't know, and I actively always try to work away from that. I always try to put game scenarios into play that are going to replicate what's going to be in a game. If anything, I will do something unpredictable. So if we're working on defensive principles, I will take away an extra defender to see how the group reacts.
Yeah.
So, you train for, 7v7, 11v11, whatever it is, but that's very predictable. How predictable is a game? A million things can happen. So if if your group can start to understand when it's predictable, and then when you introduce the things that are unpredictable, but not into their advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Then it makes them critically think. It makes these kids think outside the box. Okay, so what do I need to do? Do I need to step? Do I need to, stay tucked in? Do I need to rely on my teammate to support me, whether it's verbally or just him coming over to take space? It's allowing them to think, opposed to this is what it is: 4 defenders, 4 attackers. We're
Yeah.
doing 4v4. All right, go at it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, let's make them think, but don't give them an advantage necessarily. Don't have one neutral that's always going to play on both sides.
Mm.
Allow it just to be okay. So if we're working on defensive principles, you have a 4 back, make a 3 back. Worry about the left side of the field. Have 4 guys attacking them.
Yeah.
Because what happens if that left back is out of place? How are those 3 going to adapt to 4 attacking 3?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, the realism is got to be there, and then you train for the unpredictable side. That drives me up the wall.
Yeah, I know. Whenever me and Curry do meet up, our like 2-3 times a year that we meet up, we always get into this long talk about Canada soccer and grassroots football. So it's happy that it's being recorded now, at least.
Yeah, I mean, that's good though. Yeah, I mean, this is not even like, this is something that mind you, I've planned this from like the jump. Like, I've always wanted to start a pod and talk about the whole point of this pod is Canadian soccer. I want to elevate the game. I want to show people that, that we're actually not bad. I'm trying to say, I just think the way that we train, I think it's the way, I think it's just, it all starts at the grassroots level. I think if we change that and, bring in the realism, because like you guys said, we don't really have any. Uh, I think we just progress, and we are progressing. I do believe, and I told Dawson this. I think we're in a bull run when it comes to Canada soccer. I think Canada soccer is only going up from here.
Oh, 100%. Well, and this is what bridges, and I might be jumping the gun here, but I know you guys want to speak about my experience with Jesse.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're literally gonna go with that. Yeah.
So Ontario Soccer Summit this year, Jesse Marsh ran an on-field session with my U17 boys, and then some of the League Two boys as well.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that stood out, well, obviously, like his mannerisms, the session he put on, obviously it was fantastic. But he made a point to talk about our national team.
Yeah,
Canada has. He noted that he doesn't have the most technical players in this country part of that program. He also noted, as a whole, Canada is not the most technical country, and for us to be a Spain, it would take us generations and generations and generations. But Spain's still developing, so they're still going to be miles ahead.
Yep.
But in Canada, what do we have? We have a lot of great athletes.
Yeah.
So if we can encourage those who are great athletes to stay involved with football, we're going to have better outcomes. And then he asked the question. He said, think to an under 6 game or an under 5 game, and think Housley. I'll ask you guys, what happens in that game?
And
everyone follows around and chases the ball.
Yeah.
And then there's
it's one cluster.
It's cluster, and they chase the ball pretty much. Yeah.
And what are they doing? Are they running slow?
No, they're sprinting the whole time.
Yeah.
They're running as fast as they possibly can. And then this is one thing he noted was that as soon as they get into a structured environment, it becomes, you're the left back, you need to stay here. You're the striker, you need to go up top. You're the center back, you stay at home. When these kids develop, they fear moving out of that comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
The game's very fluid now. Center backs are great dribblers. Wing backs are up and down. You see strikers coming all the way back to the top of their own defending 18. Positions don't necessarily matter as much. So don't limit the kids' desire to run. Encourage them to run as fast as they can.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I've thought about that a lot, and I reflected a lot about the college season and my 17s and even the League Two since I've had them.
Mm-hmm.
In some defending scenarios, they're more concerned about the position they take opposed to closing down the ball.
Yeah,
the guy with the ball. And in reality, what does that do? It just invites him to swing the ball back in anyways.
Yeah.
Or worst case, they will go step, but they're too scared of what the outcomes will be because they're used to being in this comfort zone. So they might go 3/4 of the distance.
Yep.
And the kid on the ball can still cross the ball across because the defender's fearful that, oh, I'm going to get burned or I'm going to get skinned or, I'm going to lose either way. So if I just stay in this comfort zone, if I stay in a good defensive position, it's a lesser of two evils. But no, go, run, step, close that guy down. The more times we encourage that at a young age, the better discretion these players are going to have when they actually got to, think themselves. So when they're in, when the cameras are on and they're playing at higher levels and their scouts watching and they're trying to apply for that or get into some academy,
Yep.
they need to be able to think themselves.
Yeah.
So if we encourage them to run and run as fast as they can, it just there's more developed. There's going to be more growth. We're going to see more athletes get better opportunities to play at higher levels because they're going to have a better discretion themselves on the decisions in that said moment.
Yep.
So yeah, that was one thing with Jesse I thought was incredible. And it was just a simple shout like that.
Yeah. Going off that, because it kind of sounds like you try to incorporate that into your teams. What would you say are your biggest parts of your coaching philosophy personally?
Well, see, so it's kind of interesting. I know I made a comment on my youth coach. He was pretty hard on us. Some of the scenarios we were put into, probably wouldn't be deemed appropriate in today's day and age. But at the same time, I would not be here if it wasn't for him.
Mm-hmm.
There was times when I was, very upset leaving the practice. There was times when I was driving an hour to training. If I made three poor touches, or if I didn't check my shoulder, because I had to learn that when I was 12.
Yeah.
I would have to sit on the line and watch training. So I just drove 2 hours out of my day to train for maybe 15 minutes.
Yep.
It's okay. That's a little harsh, but then I had the experience to play and now coach with Frank, who adds a lot of humor.
Yeah.
He's very personable. So I try to incorporate discipline. Now, also too, I don't work with really young kids, and I don't know how I don't know if my impact would be as great on real youngsters.
Yeah.
But I know with the 17s, I can be a little bit more disciplined. I can tell it to them how it is. But also I try to add in a lot of humor. I try to ask them how their day is. I try to build a relationship with their parents. It's all those little things that kind of help keep it going. So I find having that balance of being a human, being a human. Same, I'm not going to say, so and so, go pick up the cones.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, do you mind? Can you please go pick up the cones for me?
Yeah.
Kids are going to respond a lot better to being just a little bit more polite. Now, when there's a time that comes where you got to be a little bit harder on them, they're not going to think, oh, coach hates me. Oh, this is it. I'm done. It's okay.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I need to execute better, or maybe my preparation wasn't right. Maybe I wasn't switched on for that exercise. But at the end of the day, they feel me that I'm in the. They know that I'm there to support them. So I can come down hard, but also at the same time, it's in a way that's not so military like.
I want to know something about you that I absolutely love about you. Other than the fact that I think you're a perfect human being, I just asked you about your philosophy and coaching, and not one thing you mentioned had to do with football or on the pitch. It was just about you.
Just straight character. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think. And that is absolutely wonderful.
That's what I think it comes down to as well. And I think just like you, Curry, literally right when you said I had a harsh coach, there's a coach that came to mind, straight up. And I think probably 11 or 12, just turning 12, I had a coach and he was a good coach. He was probably the best coach I think I've ever had. But if you made a mistake, he would come in your face like this and he'd just yell. He would just yell straight in your face.
Yeah.
And he made a lot of kids actually cry.
Yep.
on my team.
Mhm.
But when I tell you this is probably this is one of the best teams that I think I've seen. Most of these kids that played for this team play either pro or play OUA. They play at a really high level.
Yep.
And that's all, and it just all comes down not even to the soccer part, but just to the, like you said, the philosophy, the way you train, the way you answer the questions is amazing. Like I think it's all you need.
Well, and I'll ask you this question, Nigel.
Yeah.
I know this happened to a few of you guys on my youth team. Did any of those guys, any of the guys part of that program quit?
No, but what did happen was the parents didn't like it, and then they made the coach quit.
Okay, so it goes one of two ways. It's
So
Yeah.
either
go, yeah,
the coach has to walk, or because I know we had a couple kids along the way that they just decided to go play somewhere else because
yeah,
they were taking away the fun and the enjoyment of the game.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
that's what I think is really important is we're not just so there that's where the mentorship comes because you need to have that the development and that increase of load as they get older and as they mature.
yeah,
Mhm.
But first and foremost, you're building a character. You're helping form a young mind along the way as well.
yeah,
So first things first, the last thing a coach should ever do is make a kid quit.
Yes, I agree.
We're trying to make these kids fall in love with the game, not only for this year, but for the rest of their lives.
Mhm.
Uh, so I'll be damned if I ever make a kid quit. And that's where that human side comes. That you got to, yeah, simply
yeah,
put,
yeah,
Yeah.
we're there to support the kids in their development, and if you can organize it in a structured way where there's a lot of different learning principles, that kid is not only going to be a better soccer player or a footballer, they're going to be a better person.
And honestly, Andrew Currie, as much as like we were extremely close in terms of the times that we played, like the 1 year that we played together, it was more Curry was more of a role model to me than anything else. Like,
I would agree. Yeah,
oh my goodness, the way that I came into that school was very, very different than even 1 year after I left. Like, I walked in with like bandana around my leg, bulletproof vest. Like it was very different,
tell
very
someone from
different.
Durham. That's like that sounds like a Durham person right there.
It's Durham, Durham,
Sounds like a
Durham,
Durham person right there. Sounds like a
Durham.
Durham person right there.
Jesus, lad. Anyways, yeah, it came in very, very different than. And Curry would like. He never told me. He told me I look like an idiot, of course, but like just the way that he would address situations and hold himself was much changing in the way that I became as a human being. To be fair, I'll say genuinely Curry is one of like the most influential people in my entire life, for sure.
Yeah.
So from then, even just as a captain, you could tell that he was going to be a coach and a good one at that.
Yeah, I could definitely. I'm not like I for my years of playing soccer, I would say you're definitely one of the best coaches I've ever had. And it's just off, not even just off the soccer launch, just off characteristics. Like it's just the way you coach, you know. And that's again, that all comes. That's all important to the game, right? So yeah, of course, man, of course. Dawson, do we do quick fire? Do we do quick
Yeah.
fire?
Whoa. Before we do quick fire, I need to
Go.
mention.
Don't
I
the
need to
last
mention that.
question. The last question. Curry. Let me tell you the last question on our notes. I'm gonna read it for what it says, okay?
Go on.
Why is Tottenham shit, lad?
There's
Why is Tottenham shit?
if I'm being brutally honest, this could sound terrible. I've rarely watched them this season.
Yeah.
And I remember you told me that last time I saw you.
Yeah, it's just it's not worth ruining my weekend. Now I work a lot of Saturdays, so I only get to see the ones on Sunday,
Yeah.
and I think I've only made it through like three full games. Um, it's unfortunate that they're battling as many injuries as what they are. Management, of course, is also not management, sorry, but ownership is something that's really hurt an organization.
Yeah.
Honestly, I believe in Ange. I think if he had a little bit more resources, because once again, he's a player coach. I think that's in the modern football. It's important for you to be that.
Yeah.
Especially at majority of clubs, they need
Mhm.
someone that can understand that side. Um, yeah, I don't.
That's funny.
Yeah. I'm. I mean, like, there's times where like me and Craig would watch Liverpool and Tottenham together. I remember driving 2 hours to Niagara just to watch the Liverpool Tottenham game with them, just so I could watch Liverpool win a game. Like, it's just phenomenal. It's just 3 points every single time. And on the weekend, it was another 3 points, and Liverpool won the Premier League, and it's just such a great fucking weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, biggest club in England. It's so amazing being a Liverpool fan.
I was actually traveling to London, and my mom rang. So the reason why I'm a Spurs supporter is because of my mom. And she was talking about the game, and she's like, "I don't even know why I'm watching this shit." I think you guys only scored 3 at that point. I honestly didn't even open my phone. I got quite a few Liverpool supporters as friends, and I just
that's like me every week with not every week, but like I wouldn't compare it to Tottenham, but TFC is like
every week with TFC as well.
TFC is they're pretty terrible right now, and they're not.
Yeah, they stink.
Yeah, it's hard to watch.
It sucks because it's when it's good, it's something that generally makes your life better. It's that you're looking forward to something on the weekend. It doesn't matter, if you had a bad week at work. It didn't. Yeah, go on, lad. Congrats, you guys won. But yeah, it doesn't. You get something to look forward to on the weekend. TFC is very similar to Spurs. It's just it's disappointing when you look forward to something and now you can't even look forward to it. You know the outcome that's going to come.
Yeah, you just know they're gonna disappoint. Play probably.
I have pretty good.
Like who do they have in the Canadian Championship this week?
Montreal.
So could actually win that. To be fair,
we should win that one, but we should.
Also awful.
That's the one team that's worse than us right now.
But at the same time, it's flip a coin.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And also the fact that tickets you can go get it. Well, also here's another thing that's wrong with Canada soccer. Why is everything? I know the game tomorrow for the Can Champ is like 15. You can get tickets for $15, but
it's Wednesday at 7:00.
Yeah, exactly. But also, why are pints $19? Why is the fan experience getting taken away? And then if they do play against a team that has a little more credibility to them, or they got a couple superstars on them, why do the prices get jacked up 40%? Like it once again, it limits accessibility to the game. You see the prices for the World Cup?
Oh, they're probably
a joke.
Yeah, it's insane.
I have to save and invest for it, genuinely.
Everybody has to save. Not like there's no way no one person can afford that.
As soon as it got announced that Canada was co-hosting, my father and I were talking about how we just want to go watch a game.
Yeah.
As it's gotten closer, I think I'm more content with going down to the pub.
Yeah.
Having a few pints, watching the game, and just it's about who I'm with, not necessarily being in the stadium anymore. Because it's not obtainable as just an average Canadian.
Yeah, I've said it a million times. When the World Cup comes, I don't care what game I go to. If it's Iraq versus Iran, I don't care. I will go to. I just want to go to one game. But for the rest of it, I just want to go downtown and then just be around whatever community it is, because I don't necessarily care to be in the stadium because I can't afford to go to more than one game.
Yeah.
How incredible it would be if it just nobody goes and everybody's just in the streets.
That's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. But then imagine how Toronto's going to be after that. Toronto's terrible when it comes to any sports team in the World Cup.
Yeah, it's going to be a joke still.
It'd be crazy.
Anyways, Liverpool won the Premier League, if no one knows. We're now the biggest club in England, 20 leagues, 6 European Cups, most trophies in England.
That just made me yawn.
All right, Curry.
You can yawn all you want, but biggest club in England,
All right, Curry.
Anyways, Curry, I know you got to get out of here, so we're going to finish off with 5 or 6 quick fire questions.
Sure.
Not necessarily football, but we'll just get it done.
Dawson, you go first, and I'll go second.
Okay. Favorite footballer of all time?
Oof. We'll go Gareth Bale.
That's a good pick, yeah. All right, 3 dinner guests.
Dawson.
Okay.
No, we'll go Jermaine Defoe.
That's an odd one, but okay.
That's a good show. Tottenham player as well.
TFC player as well, yeah.
We'll go Wayne Rooney.
Okay.
And we'll go. Oh, who should we do? Who should be the third one here? Let's go Gareth as well.
That's yeah.
What was your dream job as a kid if it couldn't be with football?
Believe it or not, and my parents retold this story over and over again. Uh, so I must have been like 4 or 5, but I
Yeah.
saw a city bus driver with the headset on.
That's
Thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, I'll go city bus driver.
Imagine that.
That's hilarious. All right. Biggest fear.
Spiders.
And who's the best player you've played with or played against? Or both if you want. I don't really care.
Well, actually, you know what? If we're just in the OCAA, I had Sheridan College had Raheem Edwards the one year.
Oh,
They had
okay.
Raheem.
And Mo Babuli up top for them. And
Oh yeah.
it actually it's a rough story because my mom was flying out to England, so it was the only game that she was gonna be able to see that year. And I played about 7 minutes. It's the only time that it's the least amount of minutes I ever played in a college game. And I just dove in like the first 3 times in the first 5 minutes, and Frank took me off. And but once again, it was a learning.
Learning experience.
Yeah,
They played at the same time.
yeah. They also had David Valesky, I think is how you say his name. Yeah, so they had like 3 guys that are all pros.
Yeah.
They won nationals that year. They were very good. But yeah, Raheem. I'm glad I only played 7 minutes because you couldn't really make a highlight reel off 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy.
Actually, before you ask the next question, I guess I just brought something up. Because whenever people ask me like who's the best player I've seen in like a training, genuinely one of my answers is Ian Hume from Woodstock with you. So
Yeah.
I know you've spent a little bit more time with him. So before we go, I actually want you to talk about him briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually before the CPL trials got going there, I was out in Halifax for those. I was training with Ian just to get prepared for it. And that was he was fresh off coming back from being a pro.
Yeah.
He was in his early 30s or maybe mid 30s. Just to see a guy that is really at the tail end of his career, how quick he moves laterally. You know, his thinking, I was sitting there, I was like, wow, like this is what it's like to be a pro. This is what you need to do to be at the next level.
Yeah.
And we were just on some crappy little grass pitch because Woodstock, they still got some schools where there's no fences around.
Yeah.
It's uneven ground. You make every excuse in the book on why your touch is poor. But he's a true pro. And yeah, that was a cool experience just watching somebody at the tail end that's been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one of the sessions we went to for Woodstock when I was with Currie. He was a player coach, so he wasn't even playing this day, but I think it was actually Chev who got injured because he always gets injured. Got injured and came out for like the last maybe 20 minutes, and we were playing a game. So Ian just stepped in on his place. And I remember I just hit a diag to him. And first of all, his first touch was a joke. He dribbled at his man, rainbow flicked him, and then before the ball hit the ground, he hit a volley. And I said, yeah, this guy is a different level of a footballer. And mind you, this is post-retirement. And like it's just a different level. From his first touch, how quick his first step is, his tech, his everything was just a joke.
That's crazy. That's something we want to get on the podcast. That's something we have to get on the podcast.
That is a goal, to be fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Ian?
Yeah.
Oh, that could be easily done.
Yeah, I said you might be able to give it a show.
All right. Last question is, what superpower would you choose if you could just choose one thing?
Oof. So second biggest fear is heights. So I would say flying because then I would no longer be scared of it.
There you go, lad.
Yep.
And there's no spiders in the air.
Yeah.
Well, come on. You see those videos of Australia?
Oh, there's terrible.
No, just any videos of Australia.
Yeah, the whole thing's just.
They can fuck it up.
Yeah, no, I would never. No, that's terrible.
I would never go to Australia though.
Yeah,
I would never go to
the
Australia.
size of some of those spiders.
It's a fucking joke.
Yeah, that's like life on hardcore mode in Australia. That's how hard it like.
That's why I have a cat.
Like,
Well, Hunter.
How is your cat?
Yeah.
Great.
Good.
All right.
Well, I think that's it, honestly.
Yeah, that's it. Currie, I just want to say, man, thanks for being our first guest. Hopefully, we get you again. I want you to be a recurring guest.
Of course.
Just, it's just vibes talking to you.
Good times.
We'll definitely go out there. Me and Dawson are planning to go out there.
You guys should actually come watch. So near the end of May, we'll start playing at Rinaldi Field. So that's Club Roma's
yeah
home facility. So right now we're playing at Brock. But the experience that Club Roma has is the best in the League One.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's phenomenal.
100%.
I've been to see Joseph.
100%.
I remember I saw
Yeah,
you at
I
the game.
love the Romo's home field. I loved it. Like the fact that it's like a bar and it's like
Yeah,
it's
it's like
sick.
the League One, the first team, they get over 1,000 people at the games. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal. I've been.
it's intimate, it's loud, it's a great time. There's cold pints, there's food, it's incredible.
Let's
So
find
you guys
some
should
day,
come
man.
watch a game when I'm out there.
Yeah, we'll be out there for sure. I'll
You know,
definitely.
I'll definitely check out your U17s within the next month as well. So I'll be seeing you a couple times.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
But yeah, like I said, thank you, Kurt, for being our first guest. Everyone, who is watching this, check out ATD. That is Curry's personal training company.
Yeah,
So
we'll see if we can put it in the description. If not, I'll put it in the comments anyways.
yeah, I'll be
We'll get
there.
that all sorted.
Hmm.
Andrew Currie, I love you more than anything, brother.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
boys.
appreciate
Thank you for having me on. Thank you for the shout
it.
for ATD. And as well as if anybody got questions, if they want to reach out, my coaching account is Coach Curry with two E's on the end. So, yeah, I'm on an open book. If anybody's got questions, feel free to reach out. We're here to grow the game. So thank you guys. This is also, you guys are playing a role here with growing it. And yeah, I'll be, whenever you guys want me to come back on, I'm here to support you guys. So thank you guys for bringing me on.
Respect.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew
Love
Currie.
you, Curry. Love you, Curry.
Love you guys. Take care, eh?
Take care, brother.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
This is part two of 50-50. Some shit went wrong in the first part two we tried making, so we're doing it again. So this is part two. Now, I guess the first thing we talk about is TFC. Just get straight into it. You were at the
Yeah, I was at the game. Um, I was a little out of my depths in terms of alcohol consumption. So I maybe didn't take in the game tactically as well as I probably should have. But I had a great time. I was in 114. I was like second, third row with the guy. So
Yeah.
I was there just singing a chants the whole time. But I know for a fact that there was not a shot on target. I could tell you that.
Yeah, we did. I can tell you. I can also confirm there was not a shot on target. I watched the game as well. I didn't watch it while it was happening, but I watched it. Let me see. I can pull up the stats. I watched it after, and yeah,
Mhm.
it was not a fun game to watch. It was slow. The weather conditions were pretty bad too, so I guess you can
It
add.
was to be fair, being there, it was windy, and I was in a t-shirt. It was windy as hell.
Yeah, it was really windy. You could even see it when they were passing the ball. It was windy, but
Yeah.
uh, but just to here are the stats for here's the stats for the game. We
Hmm.
had 1.16 expected goals. New York City had 1.18, so they had more than us.
Hmm.
New York City had three big chances, but we had two.
Still
Um,
zero shots on target though.
yeah,
The
zero
fact,
shots on target
the
though.
fact we've created two big chances and not got a shot on target is actually embarrassing.
Embarrassing. And we did create a really good one with Berna, Sharp, and Cabrano in the
Yeah.
first.
Was that the one where Cabano took his touch so fucking far left?
So fucking far
And if
left.
he just takes it direct, he gets a shot on goal and probably a goal, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah. He just took it too far to the left, and like
Yeah.
the shot was just like, completely off target. Um, they had more corner kicks to us. They fouled
Honestly,
more than us.
the game was boring, man.
The game was just boring. There was like,
The best part of the game was seeing my 2014s carry a flag and see my 2013s kickball at halftime.
bro, I should. You know what? You know what? I'm gonna rewatch the game and I'm gonna put a screenshot of you in the crowd.
Just fucking blasted.
It's fucking
Yeah,
like I have
yeah,
to.
and so me and it's a little story, I guess.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
me and my homie, we're going already. It was supposed to be you, but you couldn't because you had to work.
yeah, yeah.
So me and my homie are going anyways. And this guy that I went with, we coach like he coaches my team with me. He's my
Hmm.
assistant coach, right?
Yeah.
So then, like 3 days before the game, mind you, I've had these tickets for like 3 weeks.
Hmm.
3 days before the game, I get a text from our club saying, "Oh, like your 2013s are going on at halftime. Your 2014s are gonna go bring out the flags before the game. Do you want tickets?" I said, "Yeah, I'm already going." So then I like obviously met up with the lads before the game, and after the
Yeah.
train, I'm on the train with them, and I am fucking hammered.
Oh
And the
man.
parents are laughing at me, like I am just gone. But these kids are like 11, 12, so I didn't even bag it. Like I was
Yeah.
just trying to be on my best behavior.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's hilarious, bro.
No, it was funny too.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, the TFC nothing really happened between TFC. It
No.
was
Game tomorrow though, Canadian Championship.
yes, we do play Montreal. Hopefully we get a dub.
The
Hopefully.
only team that's worse than us.
The only team that's worse than us in the league. And actually, no, they're not the only team. LA Galaxy's actually worse than us.
Oh yeah, so
They haven't won a
only
game.
one that matters. I don't care about the Galaxy.
But
it's crazy that they've gone from winning to that though.
yeah, it is crazy too. They're literally winless.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
It's weird. But yeah, hopefully we beat Montreal. It's the one team that's worse than us. They're going
That's the
through
only
a
competition that honestly we can care about at this point.
realistically.
Because MLS, we're not going to do anything.
We're not. I don't even think we're making it to the playoffs. We're not making it to the playoffs.
Hell no.
There's no.
Hell no.
I can't tell you the last time.
Don't even mention that word. So honestly, it's like the only thing we have left is literally Canadian championships. And to be honest, for a first round draw, it's not the worst thing that you want to see because like it's better than Vancouver. I mean, you would probably rather like a CPL team or like a League One team, obviously.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
A team that's doing worse than you, you'll always take in any draw. So if we lose tomorrow, manager's sacked.
100%.
Yeah.
Robert Fraser sacked. I think he should get sacked regardless this season.
Oh, he will be sacked. He'll be sacked by end of May at best. But by the time the month's over, he'll be sacked at best.
Yeah, I think he's getting sacked. I don't think he's staying in it.
They have to be looking right now, realistically.
I think they are. Yeah, they have to because the way we play is horrendous. Like,
yeah. Again, defensively we're okay, so he can get his props for that. But
yeah,
we are shocking creatively.
Yeah, terrible. I think we have the worst. I think we have the least. You know what's crazy? I seen a crazy stat. We have the worst XG in the league this season.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, the worst XG.
Does not surprise me at all.
We
we played one good game this year, and it was against Inter Miami.
And we
only good game this year.
Only good game. So,
anyways,
yeah, nothing much to say. TFC is still struggling. Hopefully, we win tomorrow. There you go.
Still suck.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Champions League or?
Yeah. So well, PSG Arsenal happened today. PSG won 1-0 off of a Kavicha assist to Dembele. Phenomenal finish, to be fair. First 4 or 5 minutes in the game. PSG dominated for the first 30 to 35 minutes, I'd say. And then Arsenal had a really good spell before halftime. And honestly, coming out of halftime, they had a really good spell as well. They scored a goal, but it was deemed offside. With a Marino header. But after that, they didn't seem to really do anything. Everyone was pretty ghost-like. Saka was all right, twice he got on the ball and did stuff. But other than that, Declan Rice drove well with the ball. But Odegaard, Martinelli, Trossard, all ghosts. Ghosts. Didn't do anything. Yeah. Odegaard's having a bit of a weird season. And Arsenal fans seem to hate Odegaard. I think it's so weird.
I think Odegaard is pretty good though, from what I see.
I think he's class.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, Arsenal fans hate him. So I don't know. But I do think because Arsenal was home this game, I don't know if they will win. I see PSG moving on, is what I think.
Yeah, me too.
Parc de France with the PSG Ultras are pretty interesting. So I think PSG will move on. I hope PSG move on. And then tomorrow we have
Barcelona versus
Inter Milan.
Yeah.
Inter Milan really good defensively, but Barcelona, like we saw on the weekend versus Real Madrid when they were down 2-1 and made that and won 3-2 in extra time.
They're just Barcelona.
They're just too good.
They're too good right now.
Lamine Yamal's just too good.
Yeah. Everybody's stepping up.
Just too good.
Everybody's stepping up. When I mean everybody on that field is stepping up. Everyone's playing.
Lamine Yamal genuinely he's the best 17-year-old I've ever seen. We've said it on the pod before, but he's the best 17-year-old I've ever seen.
He's gonna be the GOAT.
He has that potential. He does have that potential.
Yeah,
he does have a lot to do. Don't get me wrong. He has a lot to do.
Yeah,
but he has the potential to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has the time because he's only 17. Again, he's not even reaching. He's playing this good, and he's not even in his prime.
He's 10 years away from his prime.
10 years away from his prime. 17 years old.
His scientific physical prime, he's 10 years away, which is a joke. I mean, now of course anything could happen. He could just fall off the face of the earth like a Dele Alli. He could just get a bad injury and turn shit. God forbid, obviously. But at this time, he is unbelievably gifted, and I don't know if you've seen him talking after the game about Real Madrid, but he's
the confidence.
Yeah, he's just confident. He goes, they can't talk to me till they beat me. Blah blah blah. He's just cold. He has that that Ronaldo kind of ego mentality, but he has like the little dribbly,
The Neymar
creative
flair.
aspect of Messi. He has a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
flair from Neymar. He has a Spanish. He is just filth, man.
Just filthy, man.
Yeah, this kid's a joke.
Yeah, insane.
He's a truth still.
Crazy.
Pedri, very good, very very good.
Very good.
Yeah. So saying that, I think that Barcelona will just be too much for Inter Milan. Although I really do actually want to see Inter Milan get to another final because I think they deserve it. They've been around there for 2-3 years now. They got to a final. They lost 1-0. They've just been around there. And I like their players. I think Barella's phenomenal. I think Bastoni's phenomenal. I think Lautaro Martinez is phenomenal. But I just think Barcelona just have too much.
Yeah, I agree. I think Barcelona are doing too good. Like I said before, all their players are playing their part. Lewandowski's injured. Balde's injured, but that didn't seem to be a problem when they played against Real Madrid. Fernan Torres is a really good center forward, false nine. He's been putting in the work. You would think, kind of, you would think Balde is a key figure in why Barcelona plays such a high line, but he's not.
I mean, they
Martini
just put up
stepped in and
football.
did really good. Even not maybe not as good as Balde, but still really good.
They're
And
just good at football, man.
yeah,
Like they're
just
just phenomenal. Hansi Flick's done phenomenal as well.
phenomenal. The way he has his team playing right now, and the way like the way they're playing, the way they've been playing for the past year,
Yeah, it's a joke.
it's a joke. There's
It's
nothing
really
like
a joke.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so we just need to talk quick after Curry just to get the TFC in and the Champions again. And
Yeah.
I guess we'll mention it. Fuck.
Mention it, brother. Mention it.
Yeah, biggest team in England, 20th league, Prem. I popped 3 champagne bottles on Sunday. I was having a great time. You would have thought if you went on my street, you would have thought Liverpool won the game in my backyard. So I popped champagne, bro. I was having the time of my life. I was just smiling all day. I was drunk all day. It was amazing.
I mean, like I said before, they deserved it. So
Of
congrats,
course.
Liverpool. I mean, they have been the consensus best team of the season. Um, until Arsenal do something. Hopefully,
Arsenal are gonna finish third again, second again, probably next year. Who cares?
bro. I don't even get me started on Arsenal, man. They've
Yo, question for you, actually.
yeah.
Arteta's on year what 6, something like
Does he
that.
get fired?
Fam, at the end of the day, if you don't win, he hasn't won something.
He's kind of like a journey. You know what they would consider Arsenal right now? They're like the journeyman club.
Yeah,
The
but
past, like
so here's my thing, right? Has Arteta plateaued? Does he hit this level? Has he got them this good? And then he just can't get them over the line, so we have to get somebody else in just to get them over the line?
it's kind of like this is my thing. Like, is it like a Barcelona thing where they had Xavi and then they brought in Hansi Flick and Hansi Flick has taken them over the line?
So
I don't.
I mean, Xavi was a bit ass, but
Yeah, he
he
was.
started off really well. He started off really well.
Yeah, he did. I would say he did set them up, made the right transfers. With Arteta, I don't know, man. Like because Arteta has kind of like you've been competing at the highest level for 3
100%.
years now. Haven't won anything though. So I'm like
Nope.
50-50 on it. Came
It's
alive.
weird. Like if he doesn't win the Champions League this year,
Which he probably isn't.
which he probably won't because they're down 1-0 the PSG going back to their home.
Yeah.
Some very difficult conversations are gonna have to be had.
Yeah, like why aren't you winning any trophies? How come you're not,
How come you can't win a Carabao Cup?
Yeah, like
Like he to be fair, he does have an FA Cup on his thing from his first year, but he only joined halfway through that. Like that wasn't even his full trophy, is what I'm saying.
yeah. I generally, bro, I don't I think you keep him for one more season and then you say, you know what? If
Yeah,
you
you
don't
say
get
that every year though. They said that
you
this
have
year. They
but
said
you
that
have this
go
was
to
the
the start of the
year
year. Go to the start of the year. Every Arsenal fan is saying he'll win something this year. If he doesn't win something this year, then it's time. It's time. I'm telling you.
yeah. I guess this was the year where they were supposed to win.
Yeah. They came in more favored. It feels like to be honest, I will give him another year. I think he's a really good manager. I do.
Yeah, I'll give him another year too.
I think he's a really good manager. I don't really like him, to be honest with you, but I think he's a very good manager.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Anyways, I think that's it. Pretty
Yeah,
quick.
that
We
is
just had
it.
to get that stuff wrapped up.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode 50/50 with our first guest.
Yep. Like I said, this episode to me is probably the best episode we've made
Yeah,
so far.
100%. Andrew
So
Currie is amazing.
amazing guy, amazing co-host, amazing guest. So
Place me, gang.
so yeah, anyways, yeah, this is episode 6 of 50/50. So yeah, my name is NC. My co-hosted
Jordan.
Dawson Jordan, and yeah, stay tuned. And yeah, that's pretty much it.